What's going on, everyone? Today we are taking a look at a new electric scooter. This is the Navee S40. As you can see, this is a very unique looking scooter. It has their cyberpunk styling to it, and they say it's inspired by the Tesla CyberTruck. Definitely a very unique looking scooter. Let me go ahead and walk around this. You can kind of see what I'm talking about. Squared off floorboard there. Diamond cut edges, some silver on the side. So as you can see, it does look very similar to the Tesla CyberTruck. Overall, definitely a very cool and unique looking scooter. I love how the front wheel is also totally exposed. Kind of gives it somewhat of a Tron vibe up there as well. As you can see here, it does have a full suspension, and this is what they call their Shockmaster suspension system. I already tried this out yesterday, and it's definitely a very plush and comfortable suspension. So coming to the back, this has a 350 watt motor with a peak of 700 watts. Despite being a 350 watt motor, you can see it does look pretty beefy. Looking at the tires, I definitely like how these look with the nice street tread on them. And these are 10-inch pneumatic tubeless tires. As far as the brakes go, we have a drum brake in the front, and then you have an E-ABS brake in the back. And these are both controlled by the same lever. As I showed you earlier, you have a very unique deck here, which also has a unique tread pattern as well, which lends to the overall design of being kind of squared off. Definitely a spacious deck, a lot of room to place your feet, so I do like that. Under the deck, we have a 7.65 amp hour 36 volt battery, which can give you up to 25 miles of range. Looking at the lights, we have a built-in front headlight. It looks pretty small, but as you can see, it has a good amount of output. Coming to the back, we have a built-in tail light, which also lights up when you brake as well. And last but not least, we also have built-in turn signals, and I really like that these light up facing backwards, facing forward, and the side as well. So you don't need a bunch of lights on the scooter. They can see you very well just from these handlebar lights. So let me go ahead and turn these on, and as you'll hear, the scooter also beeps, so you know when you have the turn signals on as well. Coming up to the bars, as you can see here, this does have built-in Apple Find My. So if you park your scooter somewhere and you forget where you put it, or if someone steals your scooter, you can just open up your phone and instantly track where your scooter is at. So definitely a nice little added security bonus there. Looking at the bars, you have your power button, your thumb throttle. On the other side, you have your button for the turn signals. You have your latch here, which holds the scooter in place once you fold it. And as you can see, this also doubles as the little thing to ring the bell as well. So definitely a nice little contraption there. Looking at the screen, this is a nice looking screen. Very good contrast, very good brightness on it. In the middle, you have your speed. Right here, you have your drive mode, your battery life. And this also has app connectivity as well. And from the app, you can change a few settings as well as track some of your riding data as well. So to fold the scooter, right here, you have this little lever, which has a little safety latch on it. You just unhook that. And this here folds down. As you can see, the little latch locks onto that. And now it's locked into place and ready to transport. Last but not least, the scooter is water resistant with an IPX5 rating and weighs 49 pounds. Alright, so first impression, so far this feels like a very smooth scooter. The acceleration is very smooth. There's no jerkiness, there's no like instant rush of power like I felt on many other scooters. Typically when you get a kind of burst of power that's kind of untamed and not tuned properly, that's usually a cheaper scooter. They just slap a motor on a scooter. They don't really tune it much. They just make sure it can go to a certain speed. It accelerates, and that's all there is to it. But scooters like this one, I feel like they really refined that acceleration curve to make it a much smoother takeoff and just overall a smoother riding experience. Suspension feels very good as well. Riding on the street right now, there's some bumps in the road here, but it's soaking them up very well. I've ridden quite a few scooters that have full suspensions, but a lot of times they're too stiff where they're made to work on off-road scenarios. So if you hit a hard bump, yeah, it'll soak it up very well. But for regular city riding, it's so tight that it doesn't do much. This one feels like a good balance. It's not too tight, not too loose. I'm not sure how it would feel off-road, and I don't even think the scooter is made to go off-road, but on the road, definitely a smooth experience. All right, so right now I'm on drive mode, and it looks like this one tops out about 12 miles per hour. There's also a walk mode, but usually those go about 3-4 miles per hour, so I'm not gonna bother testing that one. You just double click this button to change up the speed. Oh yeah, definitely a good increase of speed on that sport mode. Again, it's still nice and smooth from 0 to 10. And then once you get up to about 12, that's when it starts picking up a little bit more. I gotta say, for a moment, I forgot that this was only a 350 watt scooter. This feels very similar to a lot of other 500 watt or even 800 watt scooters I've tested before. This does have a higher peak than most 350 watt scooters. That most likely has something to do with it. But I gotta say, so far, this is definitely one of the most powerful 350 watt scooters I've tested so far. Usually not a fan of 350 watt scooters. I mean, yes, they can go, yes, they're good enough for cruising, but they just don't have that acceleration burst that I really like, that torquey feeling, which kind of lends to the fun electric scooter experience. This one definitely has it. It does top out at about 19 miles per hour, I think it said on the specifications, so you're not gonna be flying and going that fast. 20 miles per hour may not sound like a lot, but I think 20 is just the right point to give you a fun enough experience on an electric scooter. If it goes about 15 to 16, yeah, that's pretty boring unless you're a kid or maybe a new rider doesn't want to go too quick. I'm someone who goes about 25 to 30 on scooters sometimes, but 20 is like that minimum mark where it feels like a nice and fast speed that you can enjoy. I know there's some people out there that like going 30 to 60 miles per hour on a scooter, but that's a whole entire different class, and honestly, I have no intention of riding that fast. For me, that's just a death wish waiting to happen. Oh yeah, I love how smooth the suspension is. I think 20 on this scooter is the perfect speed because this is like a city commuter cruising kind of luxury feeling scooter. So I really don't think you need to go much quicker than that on the scooter. Brakes are nice and smooth. This is a mechanical brake, but it has the electric EABS brake in the back, which is basically like the motor slowing down the scooter. This also has regen as well, so as you're riding and you brake, it'll use some of that braking power to recharge your battery a little bit. Doesn't do too much, but if you're going a full ride from 100% to 0 on the battery, it'll probably give you an extra 2 to 4 miles, so still good, better than nothing. Some free range while you ride. But yeah, definitely a smooth brake as well. I've said it in many other videos, but a lot of these cheaper scooters, the brakes are very jerky where you just barely tap on the brake and it feels like it wants to throw you over the bars, and it's just not a very enjoyable experience. You kind of gotta pay a lot of attention when you're pushing that brake or you're gonna end up putting yourself in an accident. But this one is nice and smooth. A lot of modulation in that brake lever, so you can stop smoothly and very easily. Then if you want to stop quicker, it definitely has a good bite to it as well. Again, I wasn't sure how I was gonna feel about the scooter because of that 350 watt motor. So if you're someone like me that's kind of hesitant on it because of that number, definitely don't worry about it, because this is just as good as many other 500 watt scooters I've tested before. One thing with scooters and e-bikes, all motors are not made the same. So a lot of times you might get an e-bike that says 750 watts and it'll run like a piece of garbage that a 350 watt e-bike can run faster than it. It just depends on how they build it and what kind of quality motor they put in it. So when shopping for scooters or e-bikes, look at some reviews, watch some videos, and just see how it performs in a real world environment. Just rode over a rough patch of sidewalk there, and this suspension definitely soaked them up very well. I just noticed this is a very quiet scooter. Even when I'm going near the top speed, I don't hear the motor at all. All I hear is just the wind and the sound of the wheels on the floor, but absolutely no motor noise. It's a very stealthy scooter, and I gotta say, probably one of the most quiet scooters I've tested so far. All right, let me go ahead and do a top speed run. I've seen it top out at 20, so I'm pretty sure that's what we're gonna get. But let me go ahead and hold this down and see if we can get it any more. Bit of a downhill here, so it might get a little higher, we'll see. Yeah, looks like it's stopping right there at 20. It does feel like it has a little more juice left. So if you can unlock it, it might be able to go a little quicker, but as of now, the top speed on it is 20 miles per hour. Yeah, overall, this is definitely a well-made scooter. I have no complaints about the scooter. I know there's gonna be a lot of comments from people that say, oh, for the money, you can get a much better scooter, a quicker scooter, bigger battery, yada, yada. But I think this scooter does not try to be the biggest and fastest scooter out there. This is a refined, very well-tuned scooter. Yes, you can get a scooter for cheaper with more speed and more battery, but a lot of times those cheaper scooters aren't as refined. So yes, they're gonna go quicker, but that takeoff is gonna feel jerky, the brakes are gonna stink, and in a few months from now, you might have a essential broken part. If you look at a lot of these scooters that are $600-700, if you join their Facebook groups, you'll see it's a lot of unhappy people. So yes, you can probably get a cheaper scooter, but in the long run, it's probably not gonna be worth it, because you're probably most likely gonna end up with a bunch of problems with that cheaper scooter. In my opinion, I think this scooter is definitely well priced. Again, it delivers what it sets out to do very well, and it feels very refined. So if you happen to be shopping for a nice cruising scooter with a nice comfortable luxury ride on it, this one here is definitely a great option to look at. Even if you're looking at a 500-watt scooter, put this in that category, because like I said, this definitely performs as good, if not better, than a lot of 500-watt scooters I've tested as well. All right, that about wraps up this video. As usual, if you have any questions at all, feel free to drop me a comment and let me know. Otherwise, thanks for watching, and I'll see you all next time.